episode 1, I discussed how creating a story skeleton can help keep you focused and less stressed. And you do this by identifying all the key points you're going to be writing about and then ordering them into a structure of topics and subtopics. While I've discussed what it is you should be doing, I haven't really gone into how you go about doing it. If you're having a hard time ordering your thoughts, putting all these random points into a structure, that can be pretty overwhelming. A bit like doing a jigsaw puzzle without a picture to follow. In episode 2, I'll be returning to the organizational steps I discussed briefly in episode 1, going into more detail and giving you some tips and tricks on how to organize your random ideas into a story skeleton. And I'll demonstrate how to do this by using the contents of episode 1 as an example. That way, you'll be able to view a finished outcome that began with this process. So, to start, let's rewind back to that list of raw topics that was created for and explored in episode 1. But, before going any further, here's a tip. Reach for some colored markers and keep them at hand. I'm going to be showing you how you can color code topics for easier identification and differentiation. Okay, so let's return and have a look at that raw list of topics. Review each point that was written down and ask, what does this represent? We'll start in the top left corner with difficulty ordering thoughts as our first example. Well, that's really the key problem that we're trying to solve here. So, we'll create a topic category to file difficulty ordering thoughts under, and we'll call it Identify Problem. Additionally, and this is where the colored markers come in, we'll write Identify Problem in blue. We'll then go back and note both the topic heading and color for difficulty ordering thoughts on the original raw topic list. Next, we'll move down and assess write down all points that need to be addressed. Well, that's really the phase where you're trying to get all the information out and down on the page. So, this time in red, we'll create a second topic heading to file this under that describes the relevant phase of the process. How about we call it Info Dump? Again, we'll then return to the raw list and denote that write down all points that need to be addressed falls under the red Info Dump topic heading. Moving down the page, there's Upcoming Related Episodes. It's important to let viewers know that there will be some upcoming episodes that explore related aspects of creating and filling in your skeleton. So, we'll create a topic heading called Upcoming Related Episodes and we'll make it pink. Moving across the page, there's trouble starting the writing process and keeping going. Well, that's another aspect of the problem we're trying to solve in the video, so that too falls under the previously established blue topic heading, Identify Problem. You simply continue on, assessing every point, until each one has been assigned to a topic heading. Once you have a color-coded list of clustered topics, put those topics into an appropriate sequential arrangement that makes sense, with the subtopics also arranged appropriately under each cluster heading. Once you've done so, you'll have the bones of your skeleton and will be ready to start writing. Now, what constitutes an appropriate sequential arrangement of the bones? Well, that depends on the type of writing you're going to be doing. Let's start by looking at a recipe as an example of a structure, as it's something that's easy and familiar from everyday life. If you're recording a recipe, you will need a skeleton structure that has 3 distinct sections, each operating differently. First, an unordered list of ingredients and measurements. Second, a series of sequential steps in the preparation process. And a third concluding section with an addendum of serving considerations ordered by importance. If you're telling a story, you'll have to think through the sequence of events for your narrative, especially key cause and effect plot elements that need to be correctly ordered for the story to make sense. If you're writing a newsletter, you'd order your skeleton based on outcome need. For example, prioritizing the announcements to ensure that the most important information appears first, with the rest arranged by descending importance. So decide on what type of structure your skeleton's going to need, and then group your topic clusters accordingly, giving each bone in the resulting structure an alphanumeric designation. So let's return to episode 1 and examine how a skeleton would be created. Since the contents of episode 1 are instructional by nature, each bone of the skeleton has to be in the correct logical sequence, with all of the information cumulatively making sense to the reader. Okay, of course, the introduction is going to have to go first, followed by identifying the problem and the suggested solution. I need to talk about how to create your skeleton. So first we have the info dump, followed by the info organization. There's also other pluses to creating a skeleton, so I need to have those additional bonuses listed next. I'll also want to let viewers know that there are upcoming related episodes, and I'll conclude with a recap of the episode's key points. You now have your skeleton that gives you your structure of key points that you're going to be writing about. But what if you're having problems getting to the actual writing? You can't seem to put your fingers on the keyboard or pen to page. Stick around for episode 3. I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to get writing and keep going until you're satisfied. Additionally, episode 4, which is going to focus on how speaking and reading aloud are indispensable writing and editing tools, will also show you how you can verbalize your thoughts to help you build your skeleton. Let's finish by recapping the key points from this episode. Start by creating a raw list of unordered topic points, capturing what you'll need to write about in your piece. Assess every point on your list and assign each to a topic heading. Decide on a skeleton structure that's going to be appropriate for the type of writing you're going to be doing. Assemble topic headings and subheadings within your skeleton accordingly. Color code topic clusters for easier identification and differentiation. Until next time, when I'll show you how to dress your skeleton, this is Brent Wooten at writingandeditingtipsandtricks.com. Keep moving and get the words out.